Welcome back. We are covering 25 perks to consider when joining a new company. Number 22, consistent employee reviews and goals. Don't twerk for your perks. So before we get going though, do me a favor. I want to encourage you to click the positive feedback mechanism on whatever platform you happen to be listening or viewing this content on. Again, whether it be a thumbs up, a like, an alert button, or a follow, whatever that is. Again, it helps the platforms know that the content is being viewed and is worth sharing with other folks that are seeking similar type of content. It also is an encouragement to me as I'm putting together this content for everybody as well. Again, it's free to do, doesn't take too long, and again, it is an encouragement. So thank you for doing it. If you've been doing it consistently, I do appreciate it. Covering number 22 here, and again, it's consistent employee reviews and goals. So I recently just left a situation where, as I started digging in, to the team that I inherited, and started touching base with all of my frontline folks that I've been working that are working on this particular account. It became very apparent right away that there was some frustration on those frontline folks because and this, again, before I jump into that, this goes for whether they're contract employees or full-time employees. I think it's important to do this. But as I started digging in, I found out that it had been years since there'd been any reviews or goals that had been given, to our frontline employees. And there was such a level of frustration there that a good chunk of them were looking for, other employment, because again, it didn't allow them to, present their case for why they, should, be considered for a raise, which is also important. What's actually going on, and then what they should be shooting for, what they should be striving for. And if your company doesn't know, what the roadmap is or what everybody should be aligned and trying to accomplish and do, from the top down to the CEO, all the way down to every frontline person to, the people who are doing maintenance or janitorial, everybody should have that goal and understand what it is that you're trying to accomplish, let alone their individual goals, right? And so with that, I just gave you the example. What happens is there's frustration, and people will look other places, especially in an environment right like that we're working in today, where it's hard to find workers. So if you're not stepping up and providing that the guidance in terms of what people should be working towards, but also the feedback, and helpful constructive feedback in terms of how they're doing, any feedback you may be getting from other peers or other groups, or the actual, if you're working on site for a client, you want to be able to provide that feedback to those employees so they can adjust. Most people are open to constructive criticism if you're able to give feedback in terms of what you're hearing, but they also can provide you some feedback as well, because sometimes the client isn't always right 100% of the time. And I think that you may be getting some feedback from the client, but there may be, there probably is another side to the story that you need to kind of figure out, and hear about what's going on. So I think having at least yearly, and I think having twice yearly touch bases, I try to touch base with all of my team members, at least weekly or every other week. Even if it's a 15-minute, individual one-on-one, just to kind of hear them out. I think that really helps and helps you keep a pulse on what's going on. So again, strongly encourage you to do this. If you're just, starting out, or small business, it's just as important, if not more important, because they are the face of your company, your frontline folks. So it's important to have that one-on-one. You'd be amazed at what they share with you and what they tell you. But again, it's work on your side, so you've got to set that up, but it's well worth taking the time to do that. So anyway, that's going to do it. We're going to wrap this video up here. And again, before we go, do me a favor. And again, like, as I requested earlier in the video, click the positive feedback mechanism on whatever platform you're listening to this on. It's free to do, doesn't take much time, and it's an encouragement to me as well, and also lets the platform know that you appreciate it and helps them distribute it to other folks. So we'll talk to you at the next video.